2.2, what the hell? It's here. Oh my god, this is so exciting. As I said, I didn't want to make a video talking about 2.2. At first, I was going to since, you know, views, but honestly, I didn't really have anything to say. Like, it's 2.2. Everyone's already talked about it. I hated the path system when it came out, that's for sure, but then Chadman RobTop halved the price. Now it's a much better system, since my main problem with the old system was that as soon as you got 1,000 stars, you would have exactly enough orbs and no more to buy the next path. So if you wanted to play optimally, you would have to buy all the paths before starting on buying out the shop. So thanks a ton, Rob. Seriously. Now lower the amount of coins for the Dino Robot, please. There were a lot of really cool new features in 2.2 that I've been messing around with, but one old feature that's been updated a bit is the gauntlets. Specifically, 5 new gauntlets have been added, with many more on the way. These are 25 of the most overachiever-ish levels I have ever seen. This, of course, isn't a bad thing, though I can definitely say that I'm not a fan of quite a few of these. I'm not difficulty biased, I swear, but personally, I didn't really enjoy the World, Discord, and Split gauntlets. I also played them first, which gave me a bad taste of gauntlets right away. The Discord gauntlet felt too slow for me, with a lot of the gameplay being flat surfaces for the cube to slide on with the occasional jump. The Split gauntlet was just too confusing for me in some cases, and these levels were also just enormously long, with the finishing cap of Change of Scene, which I gotta say, Blee is one of my all-time favorite creators for Deco. I love their style so much. I could do without their gameplay though. I don't know, Change of Scene has always felt really generic gameplay-wise. Straight ship, repetitive gameplay, a weirdly long cutscene, it's not my thing. After my last GD video, I've learned a few things of how to approach this community. That's not to say that my stance has changed from that video. My last video on the game definitely was not an apology, but you guys are right, this stuff is subjective. I personally believe gameplay is even more subjective than deco quality, so if you like Change of Scene's gameplay or any of these levels, don't let me take that from you. Unless you like the Discord gauntlet, that one sucked! Anyways, there were 2 gauntlets that I actually liked a lot. The Galaxy and the Universe gauntlets were 10 relatively long, heavy art levels with this weird pseudo-speedcore gameplay style almost. I don't know. It's not my favorite style of gameplay, but I can't say I dislike it, and I found the Galaxy gauntlet to be the best gauntlet this game has ever seen, with fantastic displays of culture, solid, mostly readable gameplay, and consistent difficulty. All that, and there's one level that I think trumps them all. Well, I don't think it's the very best, but the sad thing is, everyone else says it's the worst one. What the hell? Fizzy Fossils is one of 2, I think, American entries that made it into the gauntlets from the World Gauntlets Creator Contest, which I guess those got split into the 3 world-themed gauntlets. Also, before you guys say that I'm biased because I'm American and this level's from America, I will have you know that I did not realize that this was an American entry until long after, which I regret now considering the entire theme of it is oil. I think this level is fantastic, even though Jam Attack was rude on my video once. Guys, thank you for calling them out on this. That actually does mean a lot to me in terms of like my self-esteem after this video. Don't watch this video, by the way. Watch the one I posted after it if you want my real point of view. It's better made. Jam Attack, you are a fantastic creator, and I'm sure you're a good person, and the words I said offended you. I wish you could put yourself in my shoes as someone who really wants to succeed at art, but has only been rejected. I've been at this for a few thousand hours. It's not like I'm not trying. Back to the goofy video. Fizzy Fossils is awesome! Fizzy Fossils is awesome! So, I don't think that anyone is complaining about the deco, as they have no reason to, but I do want to emphasize, this is a good looking level. Not the best in the gauntlet, sure, I'll concede to that. I think that would go to Xanadu personally, but Fizzy Fossils is still pretty good looking. One thing I really like about the deco in this level is that aside from 1, maybe 2 points, the deco never conceals the gameplay. Some other levels in the 2.2 gauntlets struggled with this a bit, and while I don't think that they're bad levels at all, they definitely do become a bit more frustrating. Fizzy Fossils would never do this to us though, so let's go through the gameplay part by part and discuss why this gameplay is objectively cool. Now you may be thinking, can I really say that this is objective? And to that I say, fire! Yes. Everything I say is fact. So we're starting off with a ship. This is pretty standard stuff. The slow ship open is mathematically one of the most interesting ways to begin a level. Citation needed! And this level does it just fine. We also hear the beginning of the song. I do not like this song. Teminite has always been pretty hit or miss for me. What can I say? The hitboxes in this ship are quite fair, importantly. There's only one small and irrelevant spot where the hitboxes protrude outside the rocks, and for the rest of it, the hitboxes are about as lenient as what is typical for Rob. There's a lot to like about controlled flying, but since this is a good level, we quickly move on to the next bit of gameplay so that nothing gets stale. This bit of cube is kind of filler, but this part, this is anything but. I love blue pads in ship. This is one of my personal favorite gimmicks in GD. This ship to ball is actually really fun, and it definitely doesn't overstay its welcome. It's immediately followed by this wave which looks like the classic bad wave transition, but in actuality it pretty much works totally fine given the gameplay. This next part doesn't really have much of a talking point, though I will say that this is a notably pretty cool atmosphere in the level, and it weirdly keeps it more interesting to me. The speed changes in this part are telegraphed just fine and aren't intrusive enough to be a problem. Now, I would have preferred if this level had entered a bit of a faster part here, but really that's nitpicking. I think this next section is pretty neat gameplay wise. The deco is maybe a little bit weaker, but what's important is that it still fits the theme well and keeps up being relatively easy to read. The gameplay is just kind of unique, which is hard to do considering how long the game's been around. It's kind of wonky, but still amazingly flows nicely and gets that feeling of being different across without making the gameplay inconsistent. The next part of this level is what I've seen be called out the most, and I can't say I don't understand the criticism. And personally, I would just add some fire on this rock or a color shift or just something like that to make it more distinct. That was really the only problem that I could see with this part. Aside from that, the gameplay is honestly pretty neat. I like when dash orbs are used like this, just being shot up into the ceiling, and aside from the hiccup, this is one of my favorite parts. It syncs with the song quite well too, which is very important. I've played too many of the so-called factory levels, and I feel like I'm no longer used to sync. So getting this was a really nice refresher. These ball clicks will never get old. It's in like every level under the sun, but going up and down just it's just so fun. I can't explain it. Does anyone know why that is? Anyways, it is. Once again, objectively, this is objectively fun. My opinion is the opinion. We have a short upward ship part which drives up this tension since this is a pretty tight part and we're entering the second half. And then we get to probably the worst part of the level. Not the whole part, just like the first second. So this part starts with a green orb that if you don't know it's there, it's kind of hard to see it coming. That's it. That's literally the extent of my serious problems with this level. An absent gravity portal and pink jump pad. Jago said on their profile that they're looking for constructive criticism. Well, here it is. My one complaint. I guess the click after it is a little goofy too, since the spike is kind of hard to see. It has an indicator, but it's still kind of hard to read in the heat of the moment when you first get there. I'd make it a pointier spike visually, but keep the old hitbox. The rest of this part is really good, especially deco-wise. I think that this is my favorite deco in the level so far, and the gameplay is really consistent beyond that green orb and spike. Also, I think that this next bit is probably a different creator, but same thing. Really good deco, solid gameplay, especially this neat ship, which is kind of a rarity in terms of gameplay style in an easy demon. This level is 4 green orbs and ships, and I like green orb and ships, so I will take it. Some pretty good spider gameplay, and now we get to, in my opinion, the hardest part of the level. This robot was kind of hard to learn, honestly. The gameplay is so close to the lava that the brightness kind of gets in the way of the gameplay a little bit. That said, it took me about 10 attempts to learn it. Not exactly a massive time commitment, but I could understand putting thick outlines on the parts of the block that you're supposed to touch to sort of guide the eye. Very cool deco though, fits the theme very nicely. This same goes for the next part, which, man, has this lava section become my favorite decoration in the level? Maybe. It's mostly pretty readable. This dash orb is a bit confusing, but like, what are you gonna do? It's free once you get it. It's also cool because, like I said, super speedy dash orbs, peak content. Got some cube FO gameplay here, very cool. And the last part of this level is just your typical unwind sort of thing. Slow, not too difficult, very readable. Sadly, there isn't a frame perfect last input, but I guess reality isn't meant to be perfect. I actually died to this click like twice, which I really cannot explain is totally my fault for being stupid. But yeah, generally just a solid ending to a solid level. Why are people saying the gameplay is bad? Like, seriously, leave me a comment why you guys didn't like the gameplay. I do not understand it. I think this level's gameplay was fantastic, and its deco was great too. That is my defense of this level, but honestly, I would defend any of these 10 levels from the Galaxy or Universe Gauntlet. Maybe not Pabrik? I don't know. Personally, I didn't like the gameplay, but once again, do not let me disliking a level's gameplay take away from your enjoyment of it. If this is your kind of level, good for you. And yes, I do realize that the idea of not letting somebody else change your opinion on a level defeats the entire point of this video. But I am currently scripting the conclusion to this video, so you are gonna shut the hell up right now. Me, that'll show me, God. I have no idea if I have a big enough channel to just say a message directly to somebody, but to Jagos and the team behind Fizzy Fossils, I thought you guys did a fantastic job, no matter what the comments say. Not Mr. Sudi and XZ Magic, you two are heretics. Congrats on Ethereal Artifice, it looks hard.